Hello and welcome back to the Red Bull review. It's me, Luke. Not got Scott with me today. I think he's probably still hangover. I haven't heard from him all day, so I've got a funny feeling he's probably still hangover after we were celebrating long into the night that England's won and football is coming home, or maybe not. We'll see on Sunday evening. I'm joined by a new friend of ours. You might have you know him if you follow us on Twitter. His name is Ed. He's our brand manager. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, how are we?
Not bad. So it was basically a perfect day yesterday, wasn't it?
For us, yeah, absolutely brilliant. You can't beat a 4-0 win against Ukraine, and then a 2-1 win on the road.
Yeah, 2-1, the first road win. If you didn't know what rock you've been sleeping under, Red Bull won their first road game of the season. So, of course, we hadn't actually won a game. We have been pretty poor on the roads this season. We managed to pick up our first road point at Atlanta a week ago. And we went down to Explorer Stadium in Orlando, Florida. And it's safe to say, not many people gave us a chance, including Ronnie Parker himself, who I hear might be going blonde soon.
It has to happen now. I've seen the response on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's got to happen.
We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen, Ronnie. So, he didn't get a chance. I said we might get a point, maybe a win. Scott did actually predict 2-1. So well done, Scott. You're right. They've got a 2-1 victory down in Orlando, and obviously Orlando are a very good team. Like one of the best teams in each season. It's safe to say. Like only lost 2 games this season, both to New York Red Bulls. So home and away, as they put on Twitter last night, completed it, mate. When I saw that, I had my COVID jab, Friday evening, so I didn't stay up for. I watched about the first half of it. I think, and I get too tired. So I saw a bit of it. When I woke up and saw that, I thought most of our American people won't even know what we're talking about when we say that.
No one gets that reference.
No one gets it. We get it, but we won't have a clue. So we managed to do double over them this season. I think we do play them again later on this season. We'll waiver scheduling works this year. It's a bit balmy. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure we play them again at home. And I can actually check that.
Yeah, we definitely play them again. I'm just trying to think when and where we do play them.
It doesn't look. It looks like we haven't. Looks like we've done our bit. Well, we've got 2 games this year, which is odd.
Oh, happy days. Oh well, two games, 2 wins.
We'll
take
wins.
it.
MLS scheduling is, yeah. But so we're playing. We're not playing Orlando again, but we've got Columbus on the 19th of August at Red Bull Arena, and on the 15th of September we go down to Columbus. Then on the 23rd of October we're back in Columbus. You play them 3 times, but yeah, it's peak MLS. I wouldn't change it for a world. So let's get into it. The first goal of the game came from the star man who's back. He's been a really good player for the Bulls. He's really pushing through. He's been there for a couple of seasons now, but he's really coming to know, and that is, of course, it was on national duty at Copa America. But he's back. He's starting. It's sort of what a goal by him.
Oh, it's such a good finish. It's a really, really good finish. I mean, you talk about the play building up to it, but everything's just tipped off by. He's taken it on his right and then just shifted the defender out the way back onto the left. Beautiful, bent it into the far corner. No keeper in the world saving that. It's what a start as well. 6 minutes into the game.
6 minutes in the game, and like a game where we got given basically no chance. Like no one giving us a chance. MLS media weren't giving us a chance. And we went in there. We got a goal, and we rode our luck at times.
Yeah, that's been a sort of the way that we've been playing the last couple of games. I mean, think back to the Atlanta game.
Oh.
First half, we should have been home and dry. But the second half, we could have easily conceded 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So, you need a little bit of luck in
luck on the
football.
way, yeah.
But we're certainly. I just hope that all our luck isn't coming in these 2 games at the moment, because we've Orlando should and could have had quite a few yesterday.
Yeah. I always say though, like we had 13, we had 6 shots on target. We did have 4, but it's all good to having the 6 shots on target. But if you don't score 6 goals, it doesn't make much difference. You have to score goals in football. You can make shots as you want.
That brings me on to quite possibly my man of the match, which is just Coronel. Oh my word! And I know he's come into a lot of stick recently, and to be honest, at times rightly so. The goal against New England, it's his near post. He should be getting down to it, but he was really good against Atlanta. And last night he was absolutely sensational. I mean, take out the penalty save.
Yeah,
just the saves from open play he was making were absolutely brilliant.
I think also he's only 24. And he's been in the the red ball group for a long time. He gets the red ball play, and let's be frank, he is a Gareth Stuber player. He played for him back in Austria. He's a player. There's been some call to Ryan Mayer to get a start. It's not happening.
No.
I did say at the start of the season, I did not think we have one starting goalkeeper. I thought we would be in a situation with COVID where we have one game and no one. That's not happening. Carlos Canal is our number 1 goalkeeper. I'm pretty clear. I wouldn't be surprised if he's here next season as a permanent player from Salisbury, because he's not going to get in at Salisbury, let's be honest.
No.
No. So I wouldn't surprise me at all if he joins that at next season. I would be quite happy with that. I think he's made a couple of mistakes. He's no Lewis Robles.
No.
He's a decent MLS keeper.
You've got to remember, goalkeepers don't really start maturing until late 20s. No. So up until late 20s, you're always learning, and you're going to make mistakes. So he's a very good goalkeeper for the level that Red Bulls are at the moment. Look, he's going to make mistakes, and he has made mistakes, but that's football. And when you make a mistake as a goalkeeper, it usually ends up in a goal.
Yeah.
But I firmly believe that over the course of a season, he's going to win us more points than he'll lose us.
Yes, I agree. I think a common thing I would say also when I go to football, goalkeeper is probably the most hardest position to play in. When Harry Kane, for example, Harry Kane had very, very poor, probably opening 4 match, probably not 4, but even the Germany game is pretty poor. But now, because he scored against Germany and scored 2 goals last game, no one's talking about that now. Forgets about it. But a goalkeeper, if you can see the goal, that's on you.
Well, look, we've completely forgotten about the fact that Harry Kane missed an absolute sitter in the first half against Germany.
Yeah.
When he should have just tapped it in, and he's tried to take it around the goalkeeper. But you forget about that because he gets another opportunity to make amends for it. A goalkeeper, if you make a mistake, that's it.
Yeah.
And if a centre-half makes a mistake as well, which I'm sure we'll come on to with Orlando's first goal a little bit later.
Yeah, we will indeed. So, a good time to actually say about how goal is allowed. Can't remember who scored it. No, was it DK?
Now you are testing me. You've got to remember that this is after a very, very long day of celebrating an England win.
We were all pretty.
Yeah, we'd had Twitter was an interesting. Not too sure we were relatively fit to broadcast last night.
we had quite a lot of beverages, to say the least.
Yeah, yes, it was. That was a foul in the build-up. In all fairness, though,
it was. Yeah,
relatively blatant. What wasn't a foul in the build-up, though, was Orlando's penalty.
No, I cannot believe they giving a penalty.
I mean, at absolutely no level of football is that a penalty.
No,
it just isn't. They've both gone up for the ball. There's been no extension of the arm from the defender, so it's not a push. His arms are up to protect himself, which is an absolutely natural position. The Orlando lads jumped backwards to try and head the ball because it's gone over him. He's clattered into the centre half. He's gone down. There's absolutely no way in any game of football that should be classed as a penalty.
What I get also is how VAR looked at that and thought, yes, this is a penalty. How the heck has he looked at that?
It was never going to get overturned once he'd given it. Because there is contact and they will say it's not clear and obvious. It's the thing, but the thing is, you've got to remember, if he doesn't give it, VAR doesn't overturn that either.
No.
So
VAR gets crap.
Yeah. I mean, a word on the referee last night. People who know me personally know that I have a thing about referees. But for both sides yesterday, really, really poor. Just handing out cards like it was Christmas. Everything was a foul. I mean, the penalty was atrocious. Yeah, look, it wasn't a great game for the referee.
I think also there's nothing worse than a referee. I like to call them Mike Deans, like American Mike Deans, who you can just tell they want to be the star of a show. You can't be little players, like they had to be the stars. They had to be one giving them the cars.
Well, the issue is, he didn't even hesitate with the penalty. That's the thing. No one's turned around to him and said, asked a question of him. He couldn't wait to blow the whistle and point to the spot. And it's, I don't know whether he was influenced by the fact that, there's a relatively large number of fans behind that goal. I don't know, but it's just not a foul. But again, up comes the keeper again.
Great save.
It is a great save. And I'm going to contradict myself to what I always do here and say it was an awful penalty. I mean, fair play. It's a great save, and I'm going to never take anything away from the goalkeeper. But and I'm going to sound like my own worst enemy here. It's a good height for him. It's not hit with a lot of power.
Yeah. It wasn't a great penalty. It was not a great penalty in any. Who took it? I can't remember who took it now. Was it DK or DK? Was it?
It was. Oh, I don't know actually. Bear with me. That's a really good question. Hold the line, caller. Your call is important to us.
Well, we see if we can put the slide the music on.
Exactly. Yeah, some hold music would be brilliant.
Yeah.
I will tell you in just one moment. It was Pereira.
Okay. Wasn't that a great penalty? It was quite a poor penalty. It was a very poor penalty.
Yeah, but the thing is, if Coronel goes the opposite way, everyone's saying what a good penalty it was.
Yeah.
So it's a really good save.
Great save. And I think that was all that half was all to getting into the stadium, getting into the dressing room at 1-0 up. I think always the aim.
That penalty was quite close towards half time as well.
Yeah.
So you've got to remember that the entire coaching staff are thinking about what we're going to do at half time. We're going in 1-0 up, what they're going to say, what we're going to do, and then 2 minutes before half time, penalties given, and everything goes out the window. I mean, I would be absolutely livid if I was Struber with the referee for giving that.
Yeah.
Especially if it had gone in. But good save and well deserved. I was
surprised Gareth Struber didn't get in a yellow card. I was very surprised.
He managed it the other week, didn't he?
He managed it the other week. I was surprised it happened last night.
Maybe he's learnt his lesson a little bit, or maybe just the fourth official wasn't bothered. But but yeah, I imagine if that was later on in the game, he would have a bit more to say about it.
I would have thought so. I think, say it was in the 96th minute, he was 2-1 up. I can imagine he had a few words to say about that then. But overall, so we went 1-0 in. We went back in 1-0 up at the half-time break, which it was really good scoreline. I think, like I said before, Toronto are one of the teams to beat along with New England this season. They look like they could run away with its top two this season at the moment.
Well, I was watching it with an Orlando fan, and obviously watching the Revs draw, an Orlando win puts them top of the Eastern Conference. So, that's how good Orlando have been. And you said earlier, they've lost 2 games all season. Yeah. They're both to us, but they've only lost twice.
Yeah.
They're a really, really good side, especially at home.
unless that's not like we had our latest podcast, which you can find on you can find on YouTube, and you can find it on wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Castbox, you name it, it's there. We have Mark Fiskin on here, which was a great podcast. We thoroughly enjoyed talking to him, and he was saying like when we beat Toronto, Orlando at Red Bull Arena on May 29th, we played quite a dilapidated Orlando team. Wasn't no Nani, he was suspended. DK wasn't back properly yet, and that was true. But Vic's team we beat like yesterday was a fully strength Atlanta City side. I
would argue that's their strongest 11. I would argue.
Yeah, and that bench is not exactly weak either. They can literally take DK off or put another strike on, and he's just as good. Like their front three changeability is scary.
Yeah, I mean, when you see DK, Mueller, and Nani line up against you, you worry. But I've got to say, an absolute massive word, Duncan, yesterday. Sensei, and I know he's coming for a bit of stick recently, but I mean, he got home, emptied his pockets. He had keys, phone, wallet, Nani. Yeah, literally. Nani got nothing going all game. It was sensational.
I back in I think episode 3, I said something quite controversial about Carl Duncan, but I thought he should be in the USL team. Which is I think I was a bit angry at. He had quite a poor game in open games. I was feeling the emotions. He's good play. He's being consistent. No, he's on the floor. He's not quite at a consistent level, but he's a very, very good player. In my opinion, he was unlucky to miss out of a men's national team. I think the problem with is he's got so many right backs who are American. You got Dest and Barcelona. You got so many in that position. He's probably fourth or fifth choice, so it's quite hard to get in there. But he's a very good player. Like, well, of course, he went to Europe. Like Man United, I think Man United he was at before he came back to America.
I mean, look, he's going to be. He's still only 23.
Yeah,
like what was it? The average age of the Red Bull start lineup last night was about 24.
Yeah, very young.
Coronel, who is 24, I think was the second oldest player on the pitch for Red Bulls starting.
I guess Sean Davis probably the first because he's like 28, 29. Might be 20.
Oh yeah, he's ancient compared to the rest of the team.
He must be like. It's like when the early MLS days when we had not Elliot, but when we put DPs in, it had like the 37-year-olds coming for last month paycheck. He's like that now to like this team. He's like the older father,
exactly
holding in there, like.
Yeah, I mean it's a really good, young, exciting team, and I know you talked about this on your podcast about. Players leaving for Europe. That's the only thing that we've got to worry about this team is the fact that we've got some really good 18, 19, 20-year-olds that we don't know how long we're going to keep them because they're very good. So there's nothing stopping your Salzburg, your Leipzig's coming in and saying, actually, we'll have them over here.
Yeah, that's an issue. I think that's another point. We didn't even have Kane Clark wasn't playing today. We were very dilapidated. I think. Let me get an injury report up here. Our injuries were not great.
No, there's some big players missing.
Yeah,
out
here
of
we
that
go.
Team.
Injury report. It's on New Red Bulls. Clark was out as he came to cover for his pendency. I think I said it right. Something, you know what I mean?
Something like that. Yeah, he was ill.
He was ill. Diarra was out with a hamstring. Gutman was out with a knee, obviously having long over his Achilles for a season end. But that in itself is a huge loss. Not having Aaron Long, who's one of the best MLS defenders. Reyes was still out. Roy was out. Obviously, Tom Edwards was back, which is good. I think Flo Valo was also back. I think he made the bench, maybe.
Who's that? Sorry,
Flo Valo. He's not injured anymore, anyways.
No. No.
So,
but yeah, I mean, the point that we're saying is we've gone up against a full strength Orlando team.
Yeah.
With what 3 or 4 key players not available.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's such a good result. I guess we should probably, and I'll let you talk about the Orlando goal.
Orlando goal, yeah. So
I don't want to talk about it.
And we put on Twitter.
We put on Twitter, the less said about that, the better. But I guess we probably do need to
talk about it. So the equaliser for Orlando was in the 59th minute. Yeah, it wasn't the best. It was a very poor goal to give away. Like,
it goes against everything I stand for as a football fan, which is why would you take unnecessary risks? There's just no need to do it, and I don't know who's at fault. I obviously Nealis is the main culprit, and rightly so, but I don't know if he knows he's there. I don't know whether he's got a shout to say get rid of it, or whether he just thinks that he's free to carry on running. But I mean, yeah, that's a really poor goal to concede.
Obviously, I didn't see that. I was asleep by then. But when I woke up this morning, I woke up and I saw it was 2-1. I thought, yes. Now I watched the highlights and I saw that and I thought, God. Like, I think is Sean. I've never been too indicted on Sean Nealis. Or thought he's more like he's not good. He's not a starting quality player for us. That said, he has had since Aaron Long's injury, has had an amazing season so far. Like, he's really stepped up to the plate, and like he's still young. He's going to make mistakes. So we've got to remember, like, but it's not a great one, is it?
It's not good, and like I said, I don't know whether we're being overly harsh on him. Because I don't know whether he got a shout to say get rid of it. You've got a man on, but yeah, I mean, I've just been watching it back whilst you've been talking there. It's a poor goal. I mean, they've pushed about 3 players up anyway to press. You don't run it out your penalty area when you've got 3 men pressing you.
No, it's not. It's very, very poor goal to give away, and I think. The Red Bull were in pretty prime position for that as well. Like,
yeah. I mean, we did ride our luck a bit, but I mean, we were looking relatively good value for 1-0. It's just frustrating when it's such a preventable goal.
Yeah, that's
the frustration. It's not because Nani's pulled out a bit of brilliance like we know he can do, or Mueller's skinned 3 players and gone. It's a goal that was entirely our own fault.
Yeah.
And that's what's frustrating about it. And, Struber will have said that after the game. And I don't expect to see it happening at all again throughout the rest of the season.
I think what I can check this actually. So what Struber actually to say about the Sean Nealis mistake is as follows. We've got a match recap on RBNY UK, written by Anthony Mercer. You can find that on our website. He said the mistake was by Sean Nealis was because of me from asking him to take the risk I asked him to take. He was taking his spot. He was basically, I like that in Gareth Struber, sorry, not Gareth.
Southgate.
He's basically, I like that. I've got no doubt about it. Behind the scenes, he'll be going to him. That was a poor goal to give away. You should do better than that. But publicly, he's going, that's my fault. And I like that in a manager. I think.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, he probably has told the defence that he wants a team that plays out from the back. And so, yeah, I mean, he has to take a little bit of responsibility for it, because the centre half's only doing what he's been told to do. However, he will, as you said him privately, say, look, I know I said play out from the back, but use a bit of initiative.
Yeah.
Think of your surroundings, and if you're really struggling, just hit it anywhere.
I think also it's about game management, like knowing when's the right sort of place to play it. Like, for something all the back about England, like when we were still 1-0 up yesterday, and the first half, we were craving getting the game a bit more and really pushing, and we kept playing on the back. And I thought, I had in my head, they're gonna get one of these one day. It'll get you're quite sloppy. I think no time to pick it up. But I thought, like, yeah, it's all nice to play at the back, but we've got to use your initiative, use game management. Like, if it's a poor ball, and if you're under pressure, get it up there. Don't
Exactly that.
Like,
exactly that. You can have a game plan, but you've got to realise when not to use it.
Yeah.
And look, I would rather the ball went 20 yards into the fence behind the goal, as long as it didn't go in the goal.
Yeah.
Just anywhere at all.
Yeah.
Is better than conceding. But we live and we learn, and I don't think he'll make the same mistake again. And if he does, then I think it's solely on him then.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't envisage that being an issue again.
No, I don't think it will be either. So with 11 minutes for time, and as Anthony putting out his match recap, Lando gearing up a bit here. A lot like they're making this goal, as Lando often do. But Fabio has a different idea. Fabio!
Yeah. It's such a good name to shout as he scores as well. It's just so aesthetically pleasing. I mean, Orlando had got back into the game. I think they were probably shocked to be 1-0 down.
Yeah.
And a lot of the first half was them trying to get their head around what was going on. You could see in the second half that they'd come out with a game plan and they were looking to kill the game off. And I know after they'd got that goal, it was just it almost seemed that they thought it was a formality.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got one now. The momentum's with us. We'll just go on and get another one. But again, finish is wonderful, but the football leading up to it is absolutely stunning. I mean, it's just a really, really well-worked goal. We've come from just inside our own half to breaking forward. In all fairness, but you can only beat what's put in front of you.
Yeah.
Ball's in, wonderful little layoff to Fabio, sits the Orlando defender squarely on the ground, gives the keeper the eyes to go across goal, drags it into the near post. It's a really, really well-worked goal. So, and I'm just watching it again, and it's
a beautiful goal. It's a great hit by Fabio, and another assist for Patrick Kamala. Patrick Kamala has got a goal and assists in all but one of his games he played for the New York Red Bulls. So one obviously being the 0-0 draw against Atlanta. Like, Patrick Kamala and Fabio look like a really good pairing.
Yeah, they look like they understand each other, which is really good. I mean, Kamala had a good game yesterday. He can count himself a little unlucky that he's not scored. He had 2 or 3 that went inches past the post. It just seemed like his calibration almost was a little bit off.
Yeah,
he just couldn't get the shot on target. But setting up assists, and he's had a positive impact on the game. He's not had a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. But I think Klamala and Fabio are going to be a really, really hot pairing. And then you just look at, it's not so much that, it's just when you break forward, you look at the front four, because obviously, especially against Orlando, Carmona and Caceres, they will join in the attack.
Yeah.
That's a really quality front four. It really is.
I like today, we've got like Caden Clark still. Caden Clark is still, he's going to play, but he's still our player at the end of the season. He's still to come back. Like, and I said it at the start of the season, this team would take time to gel together. and this team would take a little while. It's built got to remember, this was basically a brand new team. There's only literally a handful of players still in this team from the Chris Arnett's era. This is a new team by Kevin Farewell and Struber. And look how, it's taken, we're now in July, but we've had a 5-5-1. That's not a bad record. That's how you keep on this rate. That's a home playoff spot.
Yeah, and you've got to remember that the majority of the points dropped have been on the road.
Yeah.
So we've only lost.
And even some of the road games, they've been unlucky to not get something. Like LA Galaxy, no, unlucky. Like the Revs, another game, another day, they probably got 3-3. They've been unlucky at times on the road as well.
Yeah, I mean, if we have a look, there's very few games that we've lost at all, really, where we've lost by more than one goal.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm trying. So we lost. Let's have a look.
We lost 3-1 to New England. That's the highest defeat.
That's it.
And we were down 10 men in as well, and we were winding up at the time. We've got to remember.
Yeah, so we're staying in games.
Yeah,
it's just a case of we've been unlucky, like you say. The 3-2 against New England. That's a mistake from the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
it's the only difference that's there. I really think that as this team gels, as Struber gets his identity more into this team, it's going to work brilliantly because you can see it working.
Yeah,
and it's almost, we're in this really privileged position where we're watching an entire new philosophy play out in front of us because you can see the football that we're playing that led up to the second goal.
Yeah.
But you can also see the mistakes that are going to be made playing that football leading to Orlando. So we're seeing the evolution of it.
Yeah.
And eventually we're going to stop seeing goals conceded like we did the one against Orlando and start seeing more goals scored like the second one.
I think also like we were saying on the podcast, like Mark was saying, this team is not going to win Supporters' Shield. It's not in contention to win the Supporters' Shield this year. This team is in contention to get a home playoff seed. Like that's very achievable for this team. But there's no reason why maybe next year or the year after, with a few additions, this team can't compete for the Supporters' Shield. Like this team in a couple of years, this is the key point. If we keep these players, that's the key point. This team in a couple of years with a couple of additions is good enough to go for Supporters' Shield, in my opinion.
Yeah, because like we said, average age of the starting 11's 24.
But yeah,
you add a couple more youngsters in there, maybe one or two more experienced players. I think that has been the issue.
Yeah,
I think a little bit of lack of experience with players like Nealis. If you've got a 27, 28-year-old centre half, probably doesn't make that mistake. But a little bit of experience, a little bit of older heads just to come in and calm the younger players down a little bit. And it's all about balance. It's all about balance. And I think we're nearly there. We're nearly there.
Yeah.
This season has to be used as, like you say, it's got to be used as sort of a precursor to next season.
It's a rebuilding year. Like I don't like to use that. When we last got told that we went from one shield, I don't want to break it to you guys. We're not winning the shield this year.
No.
But this team can get a home playoff spot. This team can get in the top 3 in the East, in my opinion.
Well, for me, to be a successful manager, to take over a club, it takes 3 seasons, right?
Yeah.
Your first season is dealing with the old team from the previous manager, working out who you want to get rid of, and making those changes. Your second season is, this is your team now. It's building, it's getting your identity across, getting your team playing how they want to play. Yeah. And the third season is when you go for it, because you've got an established team playing the way you want to play.
Yeah.
So, we may not see the immediate fruits of Struber's appointments. And, this season, I know we certainly can challenge next season, but we may see some mistakes next season and it may not be as positive as everyone wants it to be.
Yeah.
But as long as we're going in the right direction, I don't see
Yeah.
any issues at all. Because come 3 or 4 years down the line, if Struber's still there and we still got the majority of this team, there's no reason why we're
No.
not challenging for the Shield.
I don't want to break it to you, Ed. You said about it takes 3 seasons, for a manager to get the team right. In our 26-year history, we only had one manager who ever got over the 3-season period here, and that's Jesse March. Now, the season in our history, I've got more than 2 seasons out of a job. So,
Well, maybe this is the time to start.
maybe this is the time.
Maybe this is it, because I mean, I've not seen anything from Struber to say that I'm worried about how his team is playing.
No,
and certainly if he is allowed to bring in the players that he wants to bring in and get rid of the deadwood that he doesn't want, it's not. I'm not looking at him as a manager of I'm worried about what he's going to do. I actually have faith in him to make the right decisions.
Yeah. Definitely.
When it comes to who he's going to bring in and who he's going to cut.
I do have to admire, like, obviously he was managing Barnsley in the Championship before this. I do admire how he went from living in Yorkshire to New York City. It's a bit of that. A bit of an upgrade.
Big change. That's
a bit of upgrade. Where do you reckon he prefers to live? I'm going to put Maddie, probably New York City. I'm going to get
maybe. I don't know. Yorkshire's quieter.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
not quite as
not quite as glamorous.
Of New York.
Sorry to everyone of our fans who live in Yorkshire, but I would rather live in New York than Yorkshire.
I would as well. But
apologies.
But
no, I think Struber has the potential to be one of the best managers in the league.
Definitely, definitely.
Let's be honest. The Championship isn't a bad level of football.
No. I would actually say the MLS Championship is very similar level nowadays. People might not admit it. Like US Snobs will say, "Oh, it's League 1 level, League 2 level." MLS is not the League 1, League 2 anymore. Maybe 10 years ago, but it's a very decent lower half Championship level nowadays. Like,
yeah, I think certainly the higher end of the conferences would maybe hold their own in the Championship. I think there are still a few teams that need some work doing to get to that position. I mean, losing 7-1 isn't acceptable in any division you're in. It doesn't matter where you play.
By the way, that's not New York City. They haven't lost 7 again. But we've done that to them. But for people who don't know, we give it some mention. I think it's our duty.
I think we have to, don't we? It's a public service broadcast.
Yeah. Toronto, who made I'm trying to think how to put this. Very bold decision at the start of the season. I would say that's been quite all right to hire Chris Armits, who of course got sacked by the New Red Bulls last season after, let's be honest, a pretty disappointing seasons. I know he won the 2018 Shield, but the 19 season was poor. The 2020 season was even poor, going out of the Disney World tournament to Cincinnati. It was a poor season last season. Got sacked last season. Got put at Toronto, and by his old mate Ali Curtis. Hasn't managed game in Toronto yet. He technically has a 100% win rate in Toronto. So
yeah, that's true. He has never lost in Toronto.
That being said, I think he's got not such a good record in Miami at the moment. It's 13.33%. He won 2 games, one in MLS, one in the CONCACAF Champions League. It's not going great for him, to say the least. Got the most responsive team roster in the league, and they're currently bottom of the league. Well, one game all season. Got 7-1 to DC United. It was 3-1 at half time, 2-1.
Yeah, it was quite close at half time. Half time,
and they got absolutely. Well, they got absolutely destroyed in the second half. But it looked like they didn't want to be there, which we probably don't, to be fair. Like,
no, it did feature, I think, probably my favourite own goal I think I've ever seen in that game. I laughed like a drain for about an hour about that.
Oh, it's really bad.
It was funny, but yeah, look, I mean, I don't see Red Bulls losing 7-1 to anyone anytime soon.
No.
And we've got to remember, we're only 11 games into the season.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. It is a long old season, and you look at the points tally. Results going our way, we are looking at. We're only 3 points off third. Obviously, I know we've got teams that have played more games and less games, but beat Philly 3-0. I know it's a big ask, but beat Philly 3-0, we go above them in the table. So we're in 7th. We're looking good for that. There are a lot of clubs around us. We're starting to see clubs pull away now.
Yeah.
You've got DC, us, Montreal, and Columbus all on 16 points.
Yeah.
And then below them are Atlanta on 12, which I think are probably going to be falling away relatively shortly.
Yeah.
So we can see already where who's going to be where.
I've got no doubt about it. Red Bulls will be above the line come 34 games. I can't even see a scenario where we don't continue a streak. I can't see a way we don't get in the playoffs this season. I think the aim for Red Bulls should be trying to get a home playoff game. By then the borders should be open. We might be able to go. If it might
be nice.
Be nice. The borders might be open by then. So, but yeah, so it's looking good. I just thought also Toronto have got 6 games in a row.
Yeah.
Haven't won in 7. Got 1 win all season. We played 11 games. Got a minus 14 goal difference. Obviously, that's been slightly screwed because of the game last night. Because it's got a 6 goal difference.
Yeah.
I slightly screwed that. But if we lose 7-1.
For me, if you have a worse goal difference than you have games played, that's red flag territory.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, back to Red Bulls. I am really excited. I mean, I think now the game last night allows us to be more excited. It sort of gives us the verification that we wanted to say, actually, no, this team is going places, because we all said it even after the losses like 3-2 to New England. We've all said it's looking good, but without the results, it was difficult to back it up. But going to Orlando with a full strength side and winning with a depleted side ourselves, I think now we can at least say there's the justification. This team is going places, and give it a season and a half. We're going to be challenging up there. And I really struggle to see a team in the league now that I feel we would really struggle against.
No, I think obviously, we'll lose games.
Of course we will.
That's parts of the game. And we'll have teams better than the Red Bulls. But I don't see them being outclassed by any of them.
No, I don't see us going into a game and having lost that game we were awful.
No.
It just never looked. I mean, I did feel like that at 3-0 down to New England. Don't get me wrong. That was a tough decision to stay up and not go to bed. But you know, I can't see us at the end of 90 minutes going, I really feel like we were nowhere near the quality of that team. We've just got to keep players fit, and we've got to keep players signed. And for the next however long, there's going to be teams without players because of the Gold Cup.
Yeah, we've got to take it. Like, I think Philadelphia might be right players on when we play them on the weekend. So that could be advantage to the Bulls. I don't think any Inter Miami players will have, but
but let's be honest, I'm not really too fussed about Inter Miami's.
We should be beaten Inter Miami. They are like Toronto level, not good at the moment. I think it'll be between Neville and arguments who gets sacked first, to be honest. But I just noted on here, whoever finishes the top 5, not top 5, to first get CONCACAF Champions League, but second to fifth gets League Cup football, which is like the Europa League in CONCACAF. We never played in this before. We went to play it in 2020 season, but then a small thing called COVID-19 came and
that stopped.
That's changed things. We could be in the League Cup. We finished in top 5, which is totally doable in my opinion. For us to finish in top 5 this season is a very easily achievable target. The way they're playing this season.
Easily, like we said, it's so close at the moment from sort of 3rd down to 9th that any one of those teams could make their way there, and a couple of wins and suddenly we're right back in it again.
Exactly, like it's a long time to go yet.
I mean we've got 2 home games in a row now, which one's against Philly, fair play. That's going to be a tough game.
Okay.
We've then got Miami, which
we should beat.
Yeah, I don't want to be too sort of confident about it, but we should be beating a team like Miami. And then we go away to Toronto, which
hopefully Chris Allen's being charged then still.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're looking at the next 3 games. You're looking at 7 points, really, aren't you? You're looking at taking 3 from Miami, 3 from Toronto,
maybe
and a draw to Philly.
Yeah, then you've got a DC game, which was never Atlantic Cap. That's a big game. Like, I don't care what MLS says. DC are proper rivals, not NYCFC. DC are the main people we don't like. Then you're back at Republic on the 31st of July for the New England Revolution kind of time, which is not going to be an easy game. Obviously, they are one of the better teams in the division, but we beat Orlando. Like we can any team on their day can beat a team.
Yeah, and that's what makes the MLS so good, is that there really is any team can beat anyone unless you're Toronto. But look, there's games in between now and the New England game. There's nothing to say that New England hit a bad patch of form. There's nothing to say that actually they drop points in a couple of games and suddenly they're struggling again. And Orlando are overtaking them, and maybe Philly are starting to overtake them. And suddenly we're at home against the New England side who maybe haven't won in a couple of games. And it all turns around so quickly. It's just worth remembering how early we are into the season. We're only a third of the way through.
Yeah, we're very, very early into the season. We played 11 games out of 34. There's a long time to go yet. We've still got summer transfer window to come. Like my feeling is something will be happening in the summer transfer window. I don't see a world there's not, because they obviously moved on Brian White for a reason. Like if I were going to get someone in, we could have kept Brian White, because they weren't had to get him any cap trouble around of the cap. They kept him. So obviously moving for a reason, what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I mean, Struber's now got an idea of where he wants to strengthen, and let's not be fair, we've got some really bad injuries at the moment of players who are going to be kept out for a while. And it just gives us that little bit of depth, because, we're looking at, with the injuries we've got, the same players playing a lot of games because we don't have the cover for certain positions. Obviously, centre-half is a real issue at the moment. And, we've got John Tolkien, who's fantastic, but he takes a knock, and then we're suddenly looking at another 3 or 4 players on the injury list, and you're just wondering where these players are going to come from that are going to not only step in but be the quality that we need.
It's time to get Connor Lyde out of retirement. What we need. Come on, Connor. We need you back. That's the answer.
But yeah,
quick shout out though. Tom Barlow came on yesterday. Pressed very well to see that game out. I'm not biggest fan of Tom Barlow, but I'll give him,
he gets a lot of stick.
A lot of stick. I don't think he's good enough to start games, and I stand by that. But he did a very, very good job last night in holding our lead, and he deserves a shout out.
Yeah, and I don't think Struber necessarily brought him on to to go out there and get another goal to kill the game. I know a lot has been said about his ability in front of the goal and chances that he should have scored, but I genuinely don't think that was his instructions yesterday. It was, he puts himself about a bit. He's relatively strong. He can cause a few issues. And he did. He just picked up the ball and he kept it and he run the clock down. Where the referee got 7 minutes from, I have not got a clue. I mean, we're looking at like 2:15 in the morning and we're looking at an additional 10 minutes of football being played. It was, I just don't understand. There's been 2 goals and about 4 substitutions where you've got 7 minutes from. But,
do you reckon he had a cheeky outcome?
Do you know what? I reckon he probably did. Yeah, a 2-2. But I have no idea where he got that from. But Barlow came on, he did his job, and he did his job well. And it just worked really, really well. And look, I don't. The jury's still out on Tom Barlow. I don't know what to think of him at the moment. He frustrates me with his finishing ability or lack of finishing ability. But yeah, it very much depends what role he's going to play. If Struber wants him playing in front of the goal, scoring goals, then we're going to have an issue. But if he wants him up there as a partner to just put himself about and be an extra body, then he'll be fine.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. Have you got anything else you want to talk about from a match, or are we coming to an end of a?
I think we're coming to a natural end, aren't we?
I think we.
Actually, just really quickly, just because I want to shout out quickly, Sean Davis, captain again. Sensational last night. I mean, rarely has a bad game anyway. But last night, his passing ability was second to none. Marshalled the midfield, gave the midfield of Orlando absolutely no time on the ball whatsoever. I think he is, and I know a lot of people say other players, I think he is crucial to this team, and I think he is arguably one of our most important players, and
good player.
Definitely see why he is captain.
Yeah, he had a great game. I agree. So that's about it for today. It's been a Red Bull review with myself, Luke Hume, and Ed Palmer. But before we go, we've got a few notices I need to mention. Don't forget, like we said, we begin our 2-game homestand against Philadelphia Union next Thursday even. Sorry, it's Friday morning our time. It'd be fun to work with next morning. And you can't forget, if you've not noticed, we are now Red members. Yeah, that's right. We're ticket holders for a States team in the UK. He said, when you say that live, it sounds a bit odd, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally just going onto maps now to find out exactly how far away the Red Bull Arena is from my house.
About 30. I'm from Heathrow to JFK is about 36,000 miles.
Yeah, from my house, which is where I am now, 3,400 miles away, and I now have a season ticket for that club. Yeah, it's quite mad you say it, and we've got no idea when we can come over because of COVID. When you think about it, it's quite mad. But we are ticket holders now, and due to the small fact, we can't come every week because it's a few hours away, isn't it? It's a few hours away. Bit of a trek.
Every week. We can give it away, and you can actually win a ticket for the game against Philadelphia. All you need to do, go to our Twitter at RBNY UK and retweet that tweet and just follow us back. We will pick a winner on Tuesday, and we'll let you know. It's in the South Ward ticket, so you can be part of an atmosphere and hopefully cheer on the boys till when they get to Philadelphia. So as I said, we begin our Philadelphia kick-off is scheduled for 8 p.m. ET. That's about 1 a.m. On Friday, June the 9th. July. Yeah.
Whenever it's July the something. For
some reason, and I'm reading the Red Bull one. They've got June 8th on there, not July.
No, July the 9th.
July 9th. So they've got
over here, 8th of July over in the States.
Yeah, they've got June 8th, so July 8th. Must be a typo. And that's 8th. Coverage will be on MXG for Utilize and also on the Red Bulls radio in English and Spanish. I don't think we've got any coverage over here as of yet. Not heard anything yet. We'll keep you updated if we do find out. I find it hard to believe. I believe it would probably be no by now, but we'll keep it up to date. You follow us on our socials, to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us on our website, rbnyuk.com. We've got loads of reports, recaps, pretty much anything about New York Red Bulls. With New York Red Bull 2, got a bit of Gotham stuff we're beginning to do as well. So there's something for everyone there. But yeah, I think that's about it. Also, Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day to all of our American friends.
Yeah. We are aware of irony. We are aware of irony of wishing Independence Day.
Yeah, we wanted you to have independence. Yeah. It's fine.
We love you guys. Yeah. we don't care.
No, it's fine. We're not bitter.
Fine. We're not bitter at all. So that's about it for today. We're back. Me and Scott will be back next Friday for our weekly roundup, a new series every week on our podcast providers on YouTube. We go over week content. We will go back, delve into deeper on our next podcast. And our next podcast have a special guest. We'll find out soon. So let's go Red Bulls. Let's go.
Let's go.
Right.